Hi everyone, welcome to the third lecture of AWS GuardDuty series, and in this lecture we will just do a quick demo on how you can enable AWS GuardDuty. We will take a look on few of the options what we have in GuardDuty, Security Hub and AWS Network Firewall. So let's stop the presentation and jump to our AWS Management Console. So this is my AWS Management Console, and as you can see, I'm into Virginia. These are regional service. So let me first, either you can search GuardDuty over here, or go to services, and that should come under security compliance, I believe. Where is that? GuardDuty. Click on GuardDuty. Okay, it's an intelligent threat protection for accounts and workload, one click threat detection. Okay, you can see the benefits: easy to deploy, accurate machine learning detection, then up to date threat detection protection, tightly integrated for the fast response. Use cases for your compute workload, your AWS credential, your S3 data or S3 bucket, and related services. Obviously, we have a new service, not a new service. It's again a 1 or 2 year old service: Detective, Inspector, Macy, and Security Hub. So what you have to do whenever you enable this on your account, obviously this is not free for me, but for the first 30 days you get a free trial. So no charges for you. Click on get started and you will see the same thing when you go with GuardDuty. Click on get started. Service permission. Now, when you enable GuardDuty, you grant GuardDuty to analyze your VPC workflow log, CloudTrail management log, CloudTrail S3 data event log, DNS query if you're using Route 53, and Kubernetes as well. Okay, Kubernetes audit logs are also generated over here. So that's another good thing that they have extended the support over here. You can also grant GuardDuty permission to analyze your EBS volume data to generate a malware detection finding. So as I mentioned, this year, June or July, they enable this support for malware detection. Enabling GuardDuty for the first time will automatically enable all your protection plan, including the malware protection too. So that is something you are getting by default. You can go through the service terms of GuardDuty. You can suspend or disable as well, and also you can disable the selected plan at any point of time if you want to stop GuardDuty. Now I was talking about the best practices model to use GuardDuty is you can have a dedicated administrator. So best part is like go with a dedicated account within an organization and have that account privilege to see all the findings from different accounts what you have in your organization. So let's say if you have 50 accounts, dump all the data of 50 accounts, all the findings of 50 accounts into one place instead of going to all 50 accounts and see. Anyway, so click on enable GuardDuty. This will be going to enable everything in the backend. I don't have anything running on this particular account as of now, but when I will be going to show you the demo on one of the production based scenario, but we will be going to see a lot of data over here. Now what are the options we are getting? We are getting obviously all the findings you will see over here: current, archive, and all the findings over here. Then we have usage section where you will see what exactly costing you are giving to GuardDuty. Some of the services are still free. CloudTrail, you will see the cost go high for the production environment, then VPC workflow, DNS logs, S3 data events, Kubernetes, and malware protection is pending. 26 days remaining. I enabled this service quite some time back, but I'm not using it. This is totally my trial account that I do demo for most of the people, right? Okay, so that's the base where GuardDuty is generating its finding. Okay, malware scan, because I don't have any specific volume running on it, so even it is enabled, it's doing nothing for me. In the settings section, if you click on the settings, if you want to like disable it, so click on settings on the top, right? And over here you can either suspend or disable. Now in order to show you something over here, Also, you can send all the data to your S3 bucket. So if it is a custom bucket, you can send it out. It's better to create a dedicated bucket. Frequency and updating the findings, update over S3 is 6 hours by default, or you can send it every 1 hour or every 15 minutes. CW is CloudWatch events. Okay, perfect. uh, Now, obviously, when you enable guard duty, you will see nothing in the finding section, that's for sure. So and again, it takes 15 to 30 minutes to see the data over here. Now, in order to see, what kind of findings we have, so you can again go to settings, click on settings, and you can click on generate sample finding. So let's do that. This takes time a bit for us to show us the sample finding. So I'll show you once this is available over here. Okay, we have. So these are the sample data what AWS is giving us, and showing us like what kind of data you will be going to see or observe within the guard duty when you enable or run against your production or staging account. Now, this is one of the malicious files. So let's look at the detail. Two of the security risks detected. Uh, the test file on EC2 instance, right? Now, what is the risk we have? So as you can see, it's giving a lot of data over here. Severity is high. Which region? Count is one. So if when we say count, is basically it was hit one time. That's my account ID. It's giving us the instance ID too. Created date, then updated date, scan ID, then what kind of threat? It's EICAR test file detected, which is high. I'm not sure what exactly is this all about. Okay, that's a text file that I believe that downloaded on the system. And again, this is sample finding. It's giving you the detail of all your instance, like which AMI running or not, what kind of instance type, generated the finding, instance tag, everything over here. Network interface. Private IP address is this generated finding, public DNS. Public IP is 198.51. That's a public range. Okay. If we go down, file scan 65,000 scan. Okay. And encryption type is unencrypted. And threat intelligence detail is Bitdefender. So that's where you are getting a lot of detail over here. That's one kind of malicious file. And you can see we have Kubernetes basically as well. And here you are getting anonymous user system was granted to the API permission of EKS cluster. And again, the related detail over here. Denial of service. Make sure, again, I'm telling you multiple times, this is a detection system. If you have to make it as a prevention system, you have to integrate with different services. I'll show you how. EC2 is behaving in a manner that it may indicate it is being used to perform denial of service against TCP IP protocol. So like all these findings are it's showing over here, the out direction is outbound. Okay, so that's the sample finding that you can see. Now if I go to the list, we have two type of list over here. One is the trusted IP list, second is the threat IP list. Now let's say you have the malicious IP addresses from your vendor services, right, who takes care of all the security. We have a lot of different third party services which takes care of controlling, not controlling, basically capturing all the threat IP addresses. So you can specify the name. It can be any name, ABC, XYZ. Locations, better to maintain a bucket for that. And it's a txt file. You can create like a test file, plain text, or CSV, or whatever it is. If you click agree, it will show that this is a threat IP, and any request coming from the threat IP is a malicious attack. So you cannot communicate outbound to that IP address. If it is a trusted IP, you can whitelist. So that's how it works. Now, let's say both the IP addresses, if one IP addresses are in the both list, trusted and threat, then it will always take the preference of trusted IP address over threat IP address. I mean, that's how it is designed. S3 protection. No, so S3 protection is enabled, monitoring and generating a data. EKS, I don't have any Kubernetes, but still, as if you remember when we enabled this particular guard duty from the console, it says it is granting all the permissions, it's enabling all the services for monitoring and everything. Malware protection, it's enabled by default, 26 days remaining. You can retain the snapshots, the scanned snapshots if malware is detected, and it will obviously cost you. Now, these are the scan option. You can include, you can exclude based upon the tag. If you go to accounts, here let's say if this account is acting as a administrator account, so you can click on add account, add all the accounts with the email address, the relevant email address over here, and then you can see all the data from all the accounts into this administrator account. So that's how guard duty looks like when you enable it. So for now I'm going to just disable it because I don't need it. Okay, so I showed you both the process, enable, disable, and what are the options we have. Second one, I want to continue in the same video. Second one is the security hub. Although as I mentioned, I have done this video long back. I will share the link that shows you the detailed way. Get started with the security hub. Again, 30 days of trial period, run automated checks, cross environment, prioritize, remediate. We get an option to remediate. So yes, with the help of Lambda function, you can remediate. First 100,000, that's the amount that you have to pay. Then between 100 to 500, that's the amount. And obviously, so everything is listed over here. Okay, how you can enable it? Go to security hub. Okay, yeah, these are the three frameworks, the security standard. One is obviously the AWS Foundational Security Best Practices, CIS. This version has been updated, but we are waiting for it to upgrade over here. And PCI DSS. Okay, again, the same delegated administrator. Click on Enable Security Hub. Obviously, I don't have anything in my account, but yes, this will assess entire environment, entire account of yours, and will give you the result like the pass, failed, or score kind of system based upon all these frameworks. I believe this was more of an old one, which I haven't done this yet. So for one of the example was like this instance was communicating with a disallowed IP address 2 days back. So in that case, I have to take an action, and based on that, because it's coming from guard duty, and rest of the product you can see it's security hub. Okay, and it's failed. It's failed because of what? Multi-region cloud trail within the required configuration doesn't exist in this account. So those are the things that we are getting, and these are the sample findings. You can say you cannot generate a sample findings as per best of my understanding, because this is an integrated service. You have to send the data out from other service to this one. Okay, integration, what we are getting from the integration. So we are audit manager is another service that continuously audits your AWS usage across the risk and compliance as per the standard. Findings from audit manager comes to security hub, and based on that you take an action. We have chatbot, AWS config. There is a, as you can see, accepting the findings. You can also stop it. We have firewall manager. Detective is more of a new service, so I haven't used detective a lot. Guard duty, inspector, access analyzer, health. Those are the five 5 or 6 different services, the native services what we have with AWS for the integration. Then we have again Macy comes under that. Systems manager, patch manager, you can send all those data. And again we have the third party. This is alert logics, seamless threat management system. Then we have 3 cores, like a lot of different vendors is integrated over here. So as you can see, if you want to use, you have to pay for it, and based on that obviously you have to work with the vendor, how it works and everything. Okay, so that's the integration part. If you click on the security standard, these are the security standard. Click on one of them, and you will see like all kind of checks what they are doing. It's almost 189 enabled for me. Okay. uh, Insights, again, these are the, the rules what we have. If you click on the findings over here, that's my account. I have 4 count. What's that? Let's see. So these are the 4 different security hub findings what we are getting, and this is more of a this one is PCI DSS. Let's click on this one. You will see real-time monitoring over here, and you're getting every kind of report too. Okay. For direction how to fix the issue, consult AWS Security Hub CIS documentation. So that's how it looked like. And if you click on settings, if you want to disable it, if you want to have a multiple account, click on add account and give all the relevant detail. Okay. And then we have regions. You can find, so when I say cross account, because this is also regional, right? So you have to do a cross region too. Custom action, you can create your own custom action. What kind of custom action you want to do with the findings. Usage, that's how the usage looks like for me. It's almost 0 for me because I'm not doing anything. General, then again, the administrator account, you can do that too. Resource policy and disable security hub, so I'm going to disable it for now because I'm not using it. Perfect. And finally, the third service, AWS Network Firewall, and this will be the last service for us. So if you go to the VPC console, on the left navigation, you see this network firewall. We have 3 options. Firewall, so you have to create a firewall. Click on create firewall, give the name of a firewall, choose the VPC, which VPC you want to scan, basically which subnet and everything. I'm not going to enable this, I'm just showing you over here, because network firewall itself is a huge topic and you can do a lot with network firewall. Okay. So you have to create a firewall first. It takes nearby 2 to 3 minutes, and then you have to create a firewall policy and then a rule group. Again, it's not necessary that you have to go with firewall policy and rule group. You can create a rule group separately. You can create a firewall policy, and then finally you create a firewall and attach it, right? Okay. So if I go to rule, just wanted to show you something. They're like predefined rules created by AWS or given by AWS. If you go to AWS manage rule, based upon the capacity and the default order, this is strict. Strict means this will follow like what? Abuse legit bot network command. You can see the description contains a rule that allow you to block the request of class of domains, right? So you can use all these rules as per your requirement. Malware domain strict order, malware domain action order, bot network, and all those stuff. You can like use and protect your environment. This is for domain and IP group. Threat signature rule group. So threat signature botnet action order. If you click on this, so I told you like about Sakata rule, right? I'm not an expert to write a Sakata rule, but I'll share the link. I'm not sure how you will be going to pronounce, but I when I googled it out, they call it as Sakata rule. This is the one, Sakata compatible IPS rule. So that's why I said network firewall corresponds more towards IPS prevention system. Also, it monitor the environment, and based on that, it basically block that particular threat. Okay. And we have 2 type over here, stateful and stateless. So 2 type of rules that you can create, and I'm showing you just the manage rules. You can create your own rule too. If you scroll it down, I believe yeah, 2 pages we have threat signature and all those stuff. So I hope this clears a lot about. Now this is not basically like GuardDuty and Security Hub that you have to enable it. Here you have to create. By default, the service is enabled onto your account. You just have to go ahead and create. If you see the pricing is quite interesting for this. The network firewall endpoint. So whenever you create an endpoint or a firewall, that's the price that you have to give. And traffic processing, that's the price, and NAT gateway pricing. So use 1 hour and 1 gig of NAT gateway. There is no additional cost for every hour gig charge in the network firewall point. So that's why I said this is more of an interesting pricing we have. For the Golf Cloud, it's bit different, not very high, but it's bit different from the normal commercial regions. So that's it. That was it for this particular video. I just wanted to show you how you can enable and all these services. The next video, next three videos, I would say, will be like performing more of a practical demo where I'll be going to set up a few of the EC2 instances. I will be going to set all those prior to record a video, because I don't want to waste a lot of time over creating a EC2 instance and wait for it to come up. So I'll create all those stuff prior and enable guard duty and everything, and I'll show you the scenario basically that will cover the most of the common production use cases from the security perspective. So just play around with the sample findings. If you're facing any issue, place out a comment in comment section. I'll be there to help you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.